What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to another golden video with golden gems. I'm going to be sharing a lot of gems for you guys in this video. So the topic of this video is what happened to smart money and Wyckoff, right? That is something that I've seen recently. I've seen this a couple months ago, but a lot of people have been looking at their strategy with just talking about like order blocks and things of that nature. Like, we knew the whole smart money hype. Is the smart money hype over? Is smart money the new retail? Whatever I hear out here, whatever you want to call it. Simply, I'm gonna say no. There is a form of smart money that you can say is retail, but realistically, man, every strategy, even quote unquote smart money concepts, is a retail strategy, right? Everything here, everything that we're trading, all this technical analysis, they're all retail strategies, guys. There is no right way to trade. That is something that a lot of traders can't face. What I would say, there is no right way to trade, right? So when you do pick out your strategy, right, make sure you like the strategy, make sure it works for you, it works during your time. Don't try to force a strategy that's not going to work for you during your time and try to force yourself to do that. Look for a different strategy. All right, find a strategy that makes sense to you. Okay, so the thing I want to say here is, I'm not too big on, I don't use indicators. Even though I don't use indicators, it's just better for me to look at the market on a naked chart. But I'm not gonna go against somebody that does use indicators, okay, or does use whatever they use, because I used to do it too. I used to use indicators. I had a strategy before that I used to use indicators. It was called the market maker method, something like that. I don't remember the name, but I used to have that strategy, but then I like the market better on a naked chart, right? So what I want to say here is, guys, find a strategy that works for you, okay? Once you find that strategy and you like it, back test it, collect your data on it. Once you have done that, trade your strategy. Don't worry about any other strategies. Don't worry about, oh, maybe I could do better doing this. Nah, just stick to what you know, right? If it's working, do not fix it. If it's not broke, do not fix it, guys. But if it is broke, then you got to fix it. But anyways, so what happened to smart money and Wyckoff? Nothing happened to smart money and Wyckoff, guys. It's the fact that when you find a strategy, and we're going to look at EU right now. When you find a strategy, you want to make sure you know the market conditions of that strategy. As in, what market conditions that strategy excels in best. So you want to be trading a market, you want to be trading your strategy in the prime market conditions. So usually most strategies are, I would say, trend following systems. Okay, so if your strategy is a trend following system, for example on EU, if your strategy is a trend following systems and you're best taking trades at lows, making new highs, lows, making new highs. For this example, let's say trying to trade within this range might have been very difficult for you. Or going to EU, okay, we knew that EU was bullish from here going up here, right? So we knew that EU was bullish from here going up here. Now, as we go down to a lower time frame, most of us could be expecting, a bullish opportunity from here. But if EU is not showing us that, our system is going to produce a lot of losses inside of here. So with this, right, we ended up finding that our bias and our trend is shifting. When everybody was trying to buy EU around these areas, when we came back to our origin, back to this low, and we took a lot of losses, right? You took a lot of losses on all the accumulations, all the order blocks to the upside. You've seen a lot of just losses with that. And now you're thinking something is wrong. Okay, something is wrong. Something is wrong with the strategy, when the condition that we were trading the strategy in, well, it was not the right market conditions. So what would be the right market conditions? Well, now, let's say once we do invalidate this low, and now we are officially in a bearish trend, it's going to be easier for you, and you're going to start seeing that the candles or the supply zones to the downside are going to work more often than not, because we are in our prime market condition. Okay, so that's one thing I want to get out to you guys. The markets from 2020 and today are not the same markets. The markets from 2021 and today are not the same market. This is the market that everyone was trading in at this time. When smart money became a hype, when smart money got out there and a lot of people were talking about, yeah, smart money is the new, smart money is a new way to go. This is when a lot of people got into smart money, right? 2021, that's like 2 years ago. Okay, that's when people really started getting into smart money. That's when the hype really came out for smart money. And look what the market was doing. The market was in a clear trend. Clear trend. Imagine how easy selling order blocks was while the market was doing this clear trend to the downside. Imagine how easy it was. And you're looking at this like, damn, this is the best strategy ever. All of these order blocks are getting mitigated. All these areas, these supply zones getting mitigated, the market is falling. All of this is happening, right? So imagine how easy the selling opportunities were here because it was easy because the trend was going down. Okay. Now, as we're getting into market conditions in like 2020, let's say 2022, we can see the market reversing here. We know some people took losses trying to sell these order blocks to the downside. Okay, the market reversed. Maybe you took some buys into here, but I know the price action here was nowhere as near as good as this trend to the downside, right? That selling, that huge momentum push, that huge trend to the downside. This was the perfect market condition for our sponsor candles, for our order blocks, for our walk-off schematics to work, right? Now, as the market is pushing back, this is only a pullback. I know you guys have heard of complex pullbacks. The market can now do whatever it wants as it's doing this because we're not in the true sentiment that we were before. Here we were bearish and we know sellers were in control. Now when this market starts to pull back, the market really starts to do anything because as the market pulls back, it can do whatever it wants to pull back until we reach that point where sellers wants to get in and we push the market down lower, if that makes sense. Especially if there's no true buyers getting here and actually fulfilling orders for us to see that clean price action to the upside. Now I know there might have been a couple times here where we were buying, right? Let's say we see reaccumulation right here, accumulation right here. Market's going cleanly towards the upside, right? Boom, the market accumulate again, reaccumulate. The market's going cleanly to the upside. So what do you think we're doing when the market gets back to these areas? We're trying to buy the market again to cleanly get it going to the upside. And as the market's going lower and getting into our origins, we're like, okay, nah, it's time to buy, right? This big push right here. What do you think people were doing as the market came up here and broke these highs? We were buying the market. Okay, we're buying the market towards the upside, and little did we know the market was about to shift in trend, right? We're about to break this low, getting back our potentially bearish trend towards the downside. Okay, so now that's not something you can just predict, right? You just have to react to that. So us trading during this zone, trying to buy the market with that bias that the market is going to keep making higher highs, even though I do see this as a distribution on a higher time frame, and me and my group in the Discord, we talked about this, potential distribution. So I was already anticipating this low to break after the first few signs of the market not giving us any true buyers here. And when I go to lower time frame, you're going to see what that means. But we were already anticipating this low to break. But imagine the smart money concepts traders, the order blocks, the Wyckoff traders, and us as Wyckoff traders. Imagine the amount of accumulations we've seen at these lows and anticipating the market to follow the trend of making higher highs. Imagine how much losses we took there. And I'm not saying that's something wrong and you should try to avoid that, because you can't avoid all of that, right? So imagine how much losses you took here, and now that you took in these losses, you're like, man, I just, this was a losing month, this was a losing 2 months, and I don't know what's going on. We're not in the right market conditions. Okay, we're not in the right market conditions. So make sure you know what your market conditions are, right? So if we go down to a lower time frame, and what I was talking about earlier, let's look at the nature of this market as we're going to the downside and we're getting into our supply zones. Our demand zones. Sorry about that. So here's our accumulation here. Here's another accumulation here, right? Here's the origin that is holding us higher. And we can see here as the market is going lower, right? We formed an accumulation here. Market invalidated this accumulation, right? This was the first sign that potentially the market's coming down here, right? That was our first sign that the market's most probably coming down here to get into our origin. So as the market is coming to our origin, what do you notice? We notice huge selling. Now that we got this buy opportunity here, what did the market do? Invalidate that. With it reciprocated the selling pressure. So once we seen the market reciprocate the selling pressure, we knew most likely than not the market was going to have a hard time accumulating from here. And what happens? The market just goes down. And the market's not just retracing. You can see these are accumulations that's giving us the retracement. So imagine how much fake outs that there was here and how much potential losses that we could have taken by looking at these accumulation, anticipating that we're going higher, right? So with that being said, in this type of market condition here, seeing the market is continuously redistributing, it is not smart for us to buy the market. Okay, it is not smart for us to buy the market. So if we are looking at that, we are trying to buy this market in this market condition, we are susceptible to more losses, as we see in here, a lot of fake outs, right? A lot of fake accumulations. And we know that we have to determine the bias in the market, but we can't avoid this right here, right? But as we knew that the sellers were in control, seeing the redistributions. Okay, but these are things that we react to. These are not things that we can predict, right? So you're not going to avoid all of these losses, right? In your system, make sure you know what your market conditions are, what your prime market conditions. That's how you avoid issues like this when the market's not in your mark, when the market is not trading in an environment that is profitable for your strategy. You have to identify that to avoid this kind of conundrum of taking these losses that realistically your system or your strategy is not prepared for. Okay, so that is a quick video that I wanted to make out for you guys. And I mean, while I'm here, we can talk about some of the smart money and Wyckoff things here, and I'll break down EU as I'm here. We can see we have distros at all these highs. Okay, this was key for us to understand because as the market was buying, we're getting equivalent sellers. So as we are accumulating, we are also distributing. So we knew there was kind of like a fight between buyers and sellers here, which also created the accumulations, the redistribution. So as we see accumulations and redistributions, redistributions, we know there is a tug and pull between buyers and sellers here. And especially there was because during this time in the economy, in the US economy, we didn't know whether we were going to completely continue interest rates, right? Interest rates hikes, continue interest rate hikes, or whether or not they were going to pause interest rate hikes. And that is very key for the DXY because we didn't know whether DXY was going to begin pumped up with money, right? Pumped up, the DXY was going to continue getting pumped with money. If that was the case, then EU is going to continue lower. And if we did pause, if we did have that pause, then DXY would weaken, which means EU would grow stronger. We didn't have no idea what the Fed was doing at that time, and that's an affected economy. So that also could have had effect on these bad market conditions and us continuously seeing accumulations and distributions at the same time, seeing that tug and pull between sellers. So it's kind of very hard getting caught in between that tug and pull because you're buying and you're trying to sell, and then that also fucks up with your, excuse me for my language, that also messes up with your trading psychology, your trading plan, because you're seeing, okay, I should be buying, but I'm also seeing that sellers are in control. So it kind of messes up your mind and you kind of get stuck. Okay, that's what can happen when you're not in the right market condition. It can seem like something is stuck, like you're stuck in between both of buyers and sellers, and you don't know which way is it actually going to go. That means you're not in the right market condition for your strategy. If you can't clearly identify when to get in, where to target cleanly and identify where you're going, then you need to make sure that you're in the right market conditions. Okay, guys? So that is a quick video for you guys. And that's pretty much it, guys. I'll have another breakdown for you guys. If you have any questions, any specific questions, anything that you want me to go over, please let me know. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.